Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Friday live stream. So I don't know if you've paid attention, but was anything going on yesterday that was important? Because it seems like the market just took a big dump. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. There was the president of the United States arguing with Elon Musk. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I think either it's the most ridiculous thing ever or it's already planned. I don't know what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section. But I said yesterday, I go, you know what? Seems like sound financial advice to start selling off Bitcoin because the president of the United States and the owner of X and a couple other countries, or companies, I would say, Tesla, Boring Company, SpaceX, decided to fight, which is fine. But to sell off your Bitcoin, I thought was a little bit premature, but maybe I'm wrong. And that's what happened yesterday. And because of the sell-off, I want to say a moment of silence for the longs and some of the shorts, as they, in 24 hours, almost $1 billion was liquidated because of this tomfoolery. So that's what's happening in the space itself. And there was a question I have for everybody, which was, did you notice that yesterday that everything took a dump except for Tron? It went up almost 3% while everything was going down. Now, I said this before, and I'll say it again. Stablecoins, they're probably going to be pretty big for payments. And if you know anything about Tron, like we talked about, Tron is essentially 51% or 52%. It's 75 billion locked up in Tether, which is the largest stablecoin on the planet right now. So if you're looking at something to like say, what's the underlying technology? You might want to take a look at Tron, maybe Solana, maybe Ethereum, Arbitrum, those type of layer 2 types of solutions. So that's what we have for that. But today I want to talk about quantum computing. And I actually get this question every so often, will quantum computing destroy the cryptography that is Bitcoin and lead us all down the road of ruination? Well, this was actually answered by Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy as he was on CNBC, Squawk Box. And this is Joe asking the question, like, what's going to happen? What is it here? And Michael gives a pretty good response because, and this is what I've been saying as well, it's not so much Bitcoin you have to worry about. It's the entire planet's bank accounts, Google, Microsoft, and every company out there. So I want you to listen to this. This is about 3 minutes long or so. Make sure you can actually hear this perfectly. And then we'll go from there. Just take a listen to this answer.
Do you worry about that?
You look like
you slept okay. You look like you slept okay last night.
It's mainly marketing by people that want to sell you the next quantum yo-yo token. But look, Google and Microsoft aren't going to sell you a quantum computer that cracks modern cryptography because it would destroy Google and Microsoft and the US government and the banking system. And at some point, I don't think it's this year, next year, in the next 5 years, but sometime 10, 20 years out, if there's a hyper powerful computer that threatens modern cryptography, the answer is Bitcoin network hardware upgrades, Bitcoin network software upgrades, just like Microsoft, Google, the US government upgrade all their messaging and banking applications. The key for everybody is Bitcoin's a protocol like the English language and base 10 math. When the quantum computer breaks your calculator and breaks your messaging app, you're not learning base 16 math and you're not going to switch to a different language. You're just going to upgrade your software. And Bitcoin's a monetary protocol. We're just going to upgrade the software, Joe.
Wow. Because there are people that throw that around that know, actually they know less than I do, I think. But so there are countermeasures to deal with that.
If I wanted to hack your Bitcoin, I'd send you an email saying a quantum computer can hack your Bitcoin. Click on the link to upgrade now, and then I'd steal your Bitcoin. It's 10,000 times more likely I'm phishing you than there is a threat. So now I'm not worried about it. Bitcoin's a protocol. The software gets upgraded every year. The hardware is being upgraded continuously, and it's the hardest thing in the universe to hack. They will hack your banking system, your Google account, your Microsoft account, and every other asset you have, much sooner because they're an order of magnitude weaker.
Okay, great. On Halloween, what color tie do you wear?
Look, we're all orange. It's the orange.
It's always orange. So even on Halloween, it's just an orangey. It's an orangey sky. Yeah.
There's an orange wave coming, and every public company has got to be thinking about Bitcoin on their treasury because, Bitcoin is digital money. What if Moore's law applies to money and your capital is doubling every 18 months? That's what the Bitcoin treasury companies have concluded.
You've got between 37 trillion and 50 trillion reasons to buy Bitcoin, I think, don't you? You probably come up with that. 37 trillion and counting.
Look, Bitcoin is the future.
Yeah,
Bitcoin is the future, and it's the opportunity for everybody.
Thanks for coming on today, Michael.
Do you see that? I actually didn't watch the whole clip. I cut it out after like 2 minutes. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a good thing to talk about. Do you see how on point Michael Saylor stays? There is no shaking that part of him. It was pretty good because Joe's trying to lead him down to like just a casual conversation. What's your tie in October? And he's like, I don't care about that. So anyhow, back to Bitcoin, and then also Bitcoin. Did you hear about Bitcoin? You know, ABC, always be closing. Anyhow, let me think about that in the comment section. Pretty good ambassador for Bitcoin, hopefully moving forward. And then let's switch gears a little bit and talk about macro. So today, the economy is the economy. U.S. economy adds 139,000 jobs in May, above expectations of 126,000. Sounds good, but wait, it's not all great news. Unemployment rate was 4.2%, in line with expectations of 4.2%. And it's been like that, I think, for like 3 months. But the April jobs number was revised down from 177,000 to 147,000. So all the talk about like the manipulation and the numbers that come out, it happens on every single, it seems like, administration. And it's just because, I don't think it's manipulation. I think it's just because it's an archaic way of gathering this information and trying to extrapolate and give it to us. It's going to be revised. There's going to be errors. It's just how it is. And I don't know about you. I don't know if you feel like the economy is strong, but they're saying the economy is doing great. Some sectors, not so much. The headline numbers continue to exceed expectations. Trueflation, which I do like because they actually pull in real-time data, are like, hey, no cuts, because we've been at this for like 3 months, 4.2%. And Donald Trump comes out and goes, look, everything's awesome. Like that Lego movie song. Prices are down, income is up, our border is closed, gasoline is cheap, inflation is dead, our country is booming, companies are pouring America like never before. But that's the job of the president, to always put a positive spin on it. And there is some good parts to it. And Jim Bianco says it right. He goes, I believe he already knows about the payroll report. Never forget. Payroll reports as far as ADP employment, which was out just a couple of days ago. The expectation was 110. Is that the expectations? Wow. Yeah. 110,000. This is private sector businesses and their employment. What did they create? Well, 60,000 was previous, expectations 110, 37,000 was the actual. Of course, why would businesses start to hire when you don't know what the heck is going on with tariffs? That makes no sense. I don't know why that was actually so high. Let me know why that would be in the comment section. I'm not for sure. Doesn't make any sense to me. Jobless claims, although, you think, well, they're not hiring. Maybe they're not firing too much because we're at 247,000 as far as jobless claims. That's an uptick from 236,000. And as far as like the employment report, it's actually exceeded expectations. And that would be today, 139,000, unemployment rate 4.2%. So everything's good, hunky-dory, right? Well, not so fast. Peter Schiff to the rescue. And look, I know some people hate Peter Schiff. I met him in the Bitcoin conference. Seemed like a reasonable guy. He just hates Bitcoin. What are you going to do? But we're on the same side. He just doesn't realize it. He likes gold. He likes assets. He likes to get outside of the system. We like assets. We like Bitcoin. I like gold. We'd like to be out of the system. And he makes a good point here. Once again, markets are celebrating a strong May jobs report with 139,000 jobs beating estimates by 10K, while ignoring the 95K downward revisions the prior 2 months. But beneath the surface, the May jobs report, which showed even slower job growth in the prior month. Healthcare added 60,000. Leisure and hospitality added 48,000. But manufacturing, which we need a heck of a lot more than that, lost 8,000. That's the sector you want to see grow. Leisure and hospitality, that's great, but are they absolutely necessary for the advancement of a nation? Leisure and hospitality. I mean, look, everybody's got to have a job. I get it. But manufacturing, we'd like to see that short up a little bit. Adding jobs in non-productive sectors while losing jobs in the productive means more upward pressure on consumer prices. And this is funny. as hospital workers and waitresses spend money buying goods they did not help produce, and as the price of those goods potentially spiral upwards. Anyhow, that is the macro for today. Let me know what you think as far as like where you see the economy itself. But in the probably the positive parts is just what Michael Saylor was talking about, which was companies putting Bitcoin in their balance sheet. He started that trend, and it's taken off quite well. Agricultural commodity trading company Davis Commodities will buy 4.5 million Bitcoin for the reserves. I don't really care so much. I mean, that's great. 4.5 million is a lot of money, in my opinion. I mean, for me, I don't have 4.5 million just laying around. But they called it digital gold. And I like to hear that because they get it. They're not just like, hey, we're going to put it on there because the price goes up. A lot of these companies are. And we'll see if they can hold on and, hold on as we see a downward spiral, because I think, a major pullback is coming. But right now, these companies are doing what they're supposed to do. Also, Twitter and Square investor Greg Kidd acquires publicly traded known Inc. to buy 1,000 Bitcoin worth $100 million. So 4.5 million is nice, but 100 million sounds even better. So again, 2 more companies coming into that. I think that we're over 90 now of publicly traded companies buying Bitcoin. Also, the UK steps in and they lift the ban on crypto ETNs for retail investors. I didn't even know this is a thing. So if you're in the UK, sound off. The move is to support UK growth and competitiveness. I didn't know there was a ban on buying ETNs. ETNs could be sold to individual consumers rather than just professional investors, meaning the plebs like you and me. The notes must be traded on an FCA-approved investment exchange. No problems, RIE. So great, congratulations to the UK for stepping into the current century of letting that happen. And then finally, just a little altcoin news. I still think stablecoins are going to be big, and the ones that are built on it. Yield-bearing stablecoin comes to Solana via Maple Finance's Chainlink integration. And that title sounds awesome, but the 30 million in liquidity, again, way more than I have. Syrup USDC backed by 30 million liquidity. But I'm going to read this next section, and I want you to decide if this is a great move. The integration allows users to mint Syrup USDC natively on Solana, utilizing the cross-chain token standard to enable zero slippage, rate-limited value transfers between Ethereum and Solana. And just so you know, it's a liquid yield-bearing stablecoin, Syrup USDC. So maybe it'll work out, not for sure. But that is a little bit of altcoin news there. And then finally, just so everybody knows, I am on vacation starting today. I take off for France. So while I am gone, enjoy these videos that I did in advance. I'm going to talk to you about the big 3, about how I just moved all of my Bitcoin to a specific spots. That'll be tomorrow. Sunday is probably one of the best videos I've done as a collaboration. That gentleman there in the wildly outrageous colorful shirt is Simon Dixon, and he's going to tell me why we need to avoid Bitcoin loans. And I talked about this last week. I talked about it after I came back from the Bitcoin conference. And there are some things that he told me in there which make a heck of a lot of sense. And it scares the hell out of me, honestly. And I think when you watch that video on Sunday, you're going to get it. And you're going to prepare. And it's not just about Bitcoin loans. It's about the companies that do them, which are good companies. Actually, we talked about this. It is those entities behind those companies, behind those entities. And what Simon tells me is like, it's pretty big. If you don't know Simon Dixon, he's one of the OG Bitcoin investors. Bought it when it was like $3. He was also I don't know if I could say this, but he was an early investor into Circle, and congratulations to him and all the different seed round investors for the Circle IPO. And he's invested in some small companies like, Coinbase and Kraken and little stuff like that. Anyhow, check that out. That'll be on Sunday. And then on Monday, I had the H-Bar Bull on, and we talked about Hedera. One of those things that I just kind of lost track of and never really got into, and we just talked about what that is. And then also on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I got some surprises for you, but you'll figure those out when they come out live. That's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Everybody talk about is time sensitive. Now let's get into the comment section, and I'll answer all your questions to the best of my abilities. Let's see. Rob, can you please stop talking Bitcoin? You know, I just can't stop talking about it. Maybe I should make another video solely on it for 2 hours straight. And Bullish Future says, Simon is shell-shocked from dealing with Celsius. I am too. I have PTSD from Celsius, quite honestly. But it's not that, because we went into it. And I told him specifically in this interview, Simon, I don't get it, because I do loans for real estate, hard money loans, and that could be for commercial or retail. And when I do these loans, they're quite profitable. And as long as we have the collateral, which is usually we're the first lien holders, if there's a default, which rarely happens, we just repossess the property, the land itself. And he says, that's right. That's how it should go. Here's the problem with this other system. And he laid it out perfectly. And it's up to you to decide. I'm not telling you what, I'm not your dad. You can do whatever you want, but take it from a person who's been around the block a couple times, which would be Simon, and just put it into your information and then do your own research. Let's see. Fartcoin was up yesterday. Well, yes, of course, Fartcoin was up yesterday. Hot air rises. Also, it looks like Fartcoin might be added to Coinbase. Let me see if I can pull this up. Yeah, I know. Coinbase, which is very strict in their listings, is like, you know what? Trump coin, no problem. Melania coin, come on in. Fart coin, we'll put you on the roadmap. I mean, it's just nonsense. Oh, here it is right here. Let me show you this too. Yeah, fart coin is on the roadmap. Listed on Coinbase roadmap today. So it's added to the roadmap today. Fart coin. Congratulations to fart coin holders. You might get the Coinbase pump. But as a reminder, never trust a fart. Anyhow, that's what we have. Let's see. I'm going to wait 20 years for that Bitcoin back loan. You know, I mean, like, it seems tempting for the Bitcoin back loans, and you can see it, but you know, you have to understand who wants your loans. And then here's another thing. We're still in like this kind of like bullish trend. You know, some people say like, it's a bearish trend. Yeah, whatever. Like, I still think we're in a bull cycle, right? Every single year after the Bitcoin blow off top, 2013, 2017, 2021, I believe 2025, we get a major correction. And the problem is, and I just showed you with how many liquidations just had for the longs, almost $1 billion. So think of it this way. People are going to take loans on their Bitcoin, right? Fine, do what you want. And they're probably going to time it pretty badly. And they're going to probably get margin called, which the first margin call, not a big deal. Maybe the second one, third one as it goes down. But then as time goes on, you're like, you know what? It just lost. Because remember, in 2013, let me just show you. Why am I talking? This. Well, let me show you. This. And people say, you can't compare 2013 and 2025. I'm doing it. Anyhow, 2013 to 2015, again, it's the 4-year cycles. You have having all-time high, dip, reset, having all-time high, dip, reset, having all-time high, dip, reset, right? So the halving was 2012, 2013 all-time high, then you see a dip, then a reset. 2016, you have a halving. 2017, you have an all-time high. 2018, you have a dip, very low, and you have a reset. 2020, you have a halving. 2021, you have an all-time high. 2022, you have a dip down to 15,000. You have a reset. And you notice these numbers, 85%, 84%, 77% drawdowns, right? And I told you, I'm like, if 112 was the high, which I don't think it was, I think we can still hit 150 or something. Who knows? And there's also an argument to be made about, you know, return ROI, how much it's diminished. Because, I mean, look at this. The first ROI was massive, right? From like pennies to $1,000. That's crazy. And then from this one, from the low, which was roughly $1,000 to 20,000, that's 20x, right? And then from the low, from 3,000, to 67, it's pretty good. Oops, going the wrong way. So when I take a look at this, I still say there's going to be a drop off. That could be 70% at 112,000. That could be, and I'm just guessing because again, 85, 84, and 77, let's just say 70%. If we hit 150K, that's 45K. If we hit 200K, that's 60K. So as everybody's doing these loans, they got to start to, pony up and not get margin. I mean, they're going to get margin called, and to not get it liquidated, which would put them in a capital gains taxation scenario. They either got to add more Bitcoin, or if they don't, which I think a lot of people won't, then they got to sell, and then you get more liquidations, and then you get the shorts and the longs getting liquidated, and then it's just a cycle. So that's what we were kind of talking. That's just one part of what we were talking about, me and Simon. So check out that video. Says, I'd rather do my own Bitcoin, DeFi, and Cardano. Sounds good. Cardano, I think, is going to lead the way, hopefully, for DeFi on Bitcoin. How long do we have until the next Bitcoin halving? Well, I mean, should happen in 2024. And nobody really knows because it's all by blocks. So it's not like a specific day. But you guys know that. Says, we are not even close to the all-time highs here. It will happen in October, November. Gene, hopefully you're right. Because the highs always happen. In 2013, it was November. 2017, it was December. 2021, it was November. So we had November, December, November. Hopefully November, December. Maybe October. I don't know. Can we smash some light? That'd be nice. Do you think the institutional adoption will mitigate the downside when bear comes? I watched, there was a discussion. It was with Anthony Pompliano over at the Bitcoin conference. And he had some pretty smart TradFi people there. And they said, no, we don't think that these big institutions and these companies that have put Bitcoin on their balance sheet will sell, because that is their pact with their shareholders. Their shareholders, which is like, we're going to put this on the balance sheet because it's an appreciating asset and it's going to take time. Sounds good. Sounds normal. Sounds rational. The problem with the markets is that they don't stay rational. And even as long as you're in, people do irrational things, irrational things. So I hope it works out like that, and that these companies are like, you know what? Don't care. I'm going to keep buying the top just like Michael Saylor, and it'll never go. We'll still be above water. We just got to wait 4 years like everybody tells, and we'll be fine. And yes, there's some shareholders which are complaining right now, but they don't get it. But we know what's best for them. Then we'll make it work. There's that option. The other option is, you know what? Maybe this internet nerd money is not going to go as far as we thought. Let's start selling just a little bit, just to get people off our backs, and we'll go from there. I don't know, but I've been around long enough to know that the market becomes irrational. That's usually what happens. Rob, are you investing in Circle, the USD? Yeah, I think it just went live yesterday. Correct me in the comment section. So I really should. However, Coinbase, took off like a rocket, and then of course they had a major pullback. Maybe I'm just a little bit too late to it, but you know what I probably should do? Log into my Robinhood account, dollar cost average, start buying some Circle, because I think to do quite well. 2028. Did I say 2026? I'm sorry, 2028. Yeah, every 4 years. How does Hyperliquid compare to other L1s? Well, if you're on the Hyperliquid train, that's the best thing of all time. And I think they just started trading pairs on Binance either yesterday or today. So if you're into that, great. I can't get into Binance because I'm in America. I don't have any Bitcoin-backed loans. Wow. Timbuktu Panda. I live in Seattle. They jacked my rent by 23%. Wow. Should we just buy a house? I was planning to buy next year, but I'm just angry. I don't blame you. That's a lot. 23%. Seattle, I'm pretty sure, is super high for buying houses, if you got it. Or you could just wait till the inevitable crash of the housing market. Who knows? Anybody else watching MetaPlanet? Not myself. Binance US. Rob, if they can sign over Binance US, they can too. Great. And this is a good way to leave this out. Having a great day. Hope you and everyone else is too. Me too. So anyhow, everybody, I got to take off. I got to get ready. I got to make some things happen and get some things uploaded. But as a reminder, I will be gone. I'll be back on Friday sometime. So it'll be a week. And that's it. So thanks everybody for stopping by. I appreciate you. Like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. For the live stream, will be in a week. And then tomorrow, we're going to talk about why I moved all of my Bitcoin and crypto all around. All right. See you.